There we go. So I am super excited today because I get to introduce all of you guys to a very special friend of mine, Bonita Sutton. And I'm just telling you, this woman is amazing. I know she's like, don't say stuff about me. She's also extremely humble and gets embarrassed easily. So if I talk her up really good, she'll turn all shades of pink. We can be entertained. I'm just kidding, Bonita. I won't do that. But really, I've been able to co-mentor her Quest class with her this year, 1 and 2, and it has been such a blessing for me. She is an inspiration. She's fantastic with doing simulations and getting the kids active and going during class. She doesn't know how to say no. So I'm going to introduce her by telling a little story that some of you have already heard before because I've mentioned it. But we were sitting around, we went to the library to have our first meeting in the summer to get together as mentors to plan out the class. And Bonita, we were talking about maybe having a kickoff, right, Bonita? And it's kind of a tradition in our school that we have a kickoff for Quest and then we have an end of the year thing for Quest. And I said, okay, well, we need, we're just brainstorming it. And I think Bonita said, well, we need a simulation. I'm sure it was you that said it because you're the one who's always thinking that way. And I'm thinking, get the papers turned in and get the, and she's like, let's have fun. And so I was like, well, I know this really cool one, but you need a beach. And she says, oh, we can take them all to the lake and we could do it at the lake. And I said, oh, I didn't mean that kind of beach. So see, I spent 10 years in San Diego. So when I say beach, it means like the ocean, okay? So I'm like, we need waves to do this simulation. And like the beach, like the ocean, like San Diego kind of ocean. And she's like, okay, we could go there. And I was like, what? No, we can't. I literally said, we can't. It's expensive and blah, 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 and da-da-da. We'd have to find a place to stay and this, that, and the other. And anyway, she was like, no, we can figure this out. We can make this work. And sure enough, she convinced me that we should dig into it and try to figure it out. And so we ended up taking our kids for a 24-hour trip to San Diego and back. So we got to San Diego at 2 o'clock on whatever day it was. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And we left at about 2 o'clock the next day. And it was fabulous. We had kids in our group who'd never seen the ocean before. And we packed so much stuff into that 24 hours. So it was like a 7-hour drive, 24 hours there, and then 7-hour drive back because we're in St. George. So it's not really that far to go to San Diego. But it changed those kids. It really did, and I'm so grateful that we were able to go. We started off the school year with this kickoff that was really focused on service. So yes, we did the simulation in the ocean, by the way, we did it. But the night before, we spent some time at let me see if I can say this correctly. It was a homeless teen like activity center. So it wasn't an overnight center. They weren't licensed for that or whatever, but the kids could come in after school at like 3:30 or 4, and they could do homework and play games and get a shower and get dinner, and even get some food to take with them occasionally in their backpacks. They could get together. They had some tutors there that could help them with their schoolwork because some of these teens were enrolled in the school system and were taking classes. So it was fabulous to hear her story. Her story was just, I was on my lunch break one day at work and we threw our food in the trash and then we walked away and we were sitting there talking and we noticed there were some teens going through the trash and we thought, oh, they must have lost something, and then we kept watching them and it would happen again and we realized that they were taking food. They were looking for food in the trash can, and so we started bringing them food. Like we would just leave it in bags around the trash can on the ground so that they could pick it up and take it home with them. Or okay, they're homeless, so I guess technically they don't have a home, but so that's how she started, her and her 2 friends. And then they started building a rapport with these kids till they got to the point where they were able to talk to them. They weren't afraid of them anymore. And it just kind of built and grew from there. And now she has this center. And our kids were getting a tour of it. And one of our little girls, and you're going to see her on the video, she's the little blonde girl that you're going to see. We were in the supply closet, and there's all these big bins, right, that are labeled, and they were on all the shelves in the supply closet. And they said things like shoes, and I don't know what all was in there, but I do remember one of the bins, and I probably have a picture of it somewhere, that said infant supplies. And this little girl said, raised her hand, This is very cute. She raised her hand and she said, so this is a teen center, right? And I can't remember the lady's name. She's a friend of a friend, but she said, yes, it is. And she said, well, why do you have a box that is labeled infant supplies on it if this is a teen center? And I thought, oh, my heart, you know, that she didn't realize what was going on. And the lady said she had to explain to her, you know, these young girls, they end up getting pregnant, they have their babies out on the street, and they bring them in, and so we make sure that they can bathe them. That's why the girls' restroom has a tub, where the boys' restroom just has a shower, and we have diapers and clothes and stuff here for them that they can take. And I'm just so sorry. The silence was deafening. I mean, we were in this little tiny supply closet, and there wasn't like a not sniffling nose in that whole little room with all of our kids there. Like, just becoming aware of how serious the situation was. And as we had drove in, we had showed them where these kids were living on the street. I said, every tarp that you see and every shopping cart that you see on the sidewalk or in the dirt lot, that's somebody's home. That's where they live. And anyway, so that's how we started out the year. We wanted to start it out with service, and we tried to continue that through the year. And Bonita was a humongous part of making that happen. And so I really am excited to share her with you today. And I'll go get a tissue, because I imagine this is not going to be the first time that or the only time I'm going to feel this way. So she's going to share a video with you that when I just saw it this morning, and I was a mess. So sorry. Okay, it is definitely time to turn the time over to Nicole. I'm done. Okay, I know I'm like red. Okay, so breathe. And I'm going to unmute you, Bonita, and you can take it away, you amazing woman.
Thanks, Brenda. That was quite an intro. I'll try to live up to that.
Anyway, I'm going to have to go get tissue, so I'll be right back.
Go ahead. But we had an amazing year in Quest. I was really blessed to be part of that team, and it was really awesome. And I thought I would start off by telling you a little bit more about myself. I'm a mom of 4 boys from ages 19 to 8, kind of a wide range. We've always homeschooled them. We've been doing TJ Ed for about 11 years, and we've been part of the Commonwealth for about 10 years. And I have I've taught LAMI projects 5 times, so I've been to training 5 times in 3 different projects. And currently I serve as chair at the Hurricane Valley Commonwealth here in southern Utah. So this whole Haiti thing, when I unexpectedly found out that I was going to be mentoring Quest, I had a little interesting experience where, you know, I wasn't planning on doing Quest. We didn't have any scholars that we thought were ready, and then within a couple of days I had 3 of the kids come and beg me for Quest class. So, okay, I guess we're ready for Quest. That was just the beginning of our 3rd year as a Commonwealth, so I didn't think we were quite ready there. But I guess they felt otherwise, and they begged, and so we decided to do Quest, and that meant it landed on my shoulders, and so I was going to do Quest. And one of the gals in our Commonwealth, her name's April. She's an amazing, amazing gal. She's no longer in our Commonwealth because her kids all grew up and they've all moved on in life. But I'm still really good friends with April, and she has been a world traveler for a long time. And I met her 3 years ago, and 2 years ago, she did her first trip to Haiti. She kind of felt like God was pricking her heart and told her to go to Haiti. And she was like, why would I want to go to Haiti? It's like one of the poorest countries in the world. Why would I want to go there? And the thought wouldn't leave her, and so she went. And I love following her travels on Facebook, and we talked about it and had a great time, and I just loved it. And she started a nonprofit group where she now organizes people and teams to go down and volunteer and do acts of service for families down there. She actually has quite a great organization down there where she focuses on trying to help keep the families together. The culture in Haiti is so different than here when it comes to families, because in Haiti, there's kind of the attitude of, with the dads, that the family is better off without them. That when times get hard, it will always be better if the dads aren't there. And this goes back for many generations, and I've studied it quite a bit, and to find where that shift in their culture came about is really quite sad. But Haiti has been a very war-torn country ever since the slaves freed themselves back in the early 1800s. It's been a very bloody country, and they have a very tumultuous history, and that's part of why the culture is that the families are better off without the dads. And April has this quest in her that she wants to change that, and she wants to teach the families to stay together. And so she goes down to do service projects to help the families be self-sufficient and to stick together. So when I agreed to do Quest, when I hung up the phone with the third student that called me, I'm like, all right, I guess I'll help with Quest this year. I guess I'll do that. The very first thing that came to me was, you need to take those kids to Haiti. And I had a lot of the same thoughts that April did of, that is insane. Why in the world would I want to go to a third world country? Why would I want to do that? But the thought wouldn't leave, and it wouldn't leave, and it wouldn't leave until I got to that Quest meeting that Brenda was talking about, and I had them convinced to go to the beach. And then I said, I want to take the kids to Haiti. And I wish I could have had a camera to picture their faces, because it was awesome. They were like, it was like me, but 10 times more of, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? That's Haiti. You know, and I'm like, nope, not kidding. I think we should do it. And so I got to talk them through on how it really could be possible, how we could do this. We knew it would change us, and we could do it. And they finally conceded and said, okay. And so we ran with it. But then, of course, I was freaked out about going to Haiti, because I had never really traveled outside the country, let alone a third world country, didn't know what to expect. So I was super nervous, and in talking to April with my nerves, she said, you know, I'm going again in November. Why don't you come with me? And I said, okay, let's go. So I signed up and I went, and I'm so, so grateful that I went in November, because it really eased all of my fears of taking the kids in April when we left. So when the dads would come up to me and they would seriously ask me, is my daughter going to be safe in Haiti? Because Haiti has a very high kidnapping rate, very high, and they were seriously worried about their children. And I could say without a qualm, yes, we'll be safe. We are going to safe areas. We are not going to the dangerous parts. We leave those parts of Haiti immediately and travel to the countryside. So I was able to answer those questions with a surety. So I was so, so grateful that I went. We saw a lot of really amazing things with the kids when we went. And let's go ahead and do that video now, Brenda. When we took them, we knew there was going to be changes. We weren't quite sure the depth of the changes. And so I've kind of compiled a little video about it. And the video, it's about 10 minutes. So stick with it, stay awake, but you can be comfy. There's nothing inappropriate, anything. It's just a cute little video. So let's go ahead and watch that.
Okay. My favorite thing about Haiti today was the children and how sweet and kind they were. I love the language, and I'm so inspired to learn French. I loved how everybody was just so kind. Maybe they were getting paid, maybe not. Yeah. So the boys, I don't know where they are. They went and gone to bed. They were whooped because we really worked hard. Does anybody want to say anything back home? Oh, I'm gonna have muscles. Yeah, 8-pack right here. All right, say bye-bye. Bye-bye. What's that? About a little girl, a young girl. Sorry, she's not little. Actually, she's very, very tall. She's a dancer. She's a beautiful dancer. She's tall and thin, and it was such a beautiful thing to watch her always be the first one to go and find the babies and go and find the children. So whatever event we went to, whether we were building a house or whether we were speaking in front of a group of families or whatever it was, she always found the youngest children and she would get right down on their level. And if she didn't scoop them up and snuggle the babies or scoop up and swing around the children, she would be down on their level talking to them, interested in them. You know, her English, their Creole, but there were things that you could do that the language barrier just didn't matter. And she seemed to find those things, and it was beautiful. At one point, one of the little girls, when we were painting a house, came up to me and she was tugging on my shoulder or on my dress, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, and I wanted so badly to understand. So I grabbed one of our interpreters and had him come over. I said, what does she want? What does she want? And he talked to her for a minute, and he says, she wants you to play Superman with her. And I was just proud because I don't know, maybe I'm not too old for Superman, but I don't do that a lot, especially in the mud and sandals, and I felt like I would trip or something. So, but I laughed because this game was started by this beautiful young student of mine, and she would play Superman. I didn't know they had come up with a name for it, but they had, and that was her game that she was doing. So watching her serve them was beautiful, and it just showed her heart. Her heart just, the shine on it, it just shone through. It was beautiful, and I hope that she saw it as well. Hey. Have teddy bear of a young man who in class is very quiet, very sweet. He's definitely an introvert. He's also an internal processor. So when I would have to directly ask him a question by name in order to get him to participate. And he didn't seem to mind at all. But I would call him by name, and then it took him a minute. He would think through, process his answer, and then he would share it with us. It always had a lot of value. So I called on him kind of a lot because I loved hearing what he had to say. But while we were in Haiti, we slowly watched a change overcome him as well as the other kids as he opened up and started to become the man that is inside of him. The work he was doing, building a house for someone, for a family, and he was really contributing to this. And knowing that that wouldn't happen if we weren't there, if his group wasn't there to take care of this and do this, I think it's very empowering to a young man to know that he has so much worth and so much value in him that he can do something this great and this grand for a family who's in need. It was an amazing experience, and we watched him. By the end of the trip, the mentors kind of would be nudging each other and going, look what's going on. And he'd be smiling and laughing with either with his peers or with the children or the adults that we were with, and just the interacting. All of this stuff that was going on, that was definitely a very big change that we saw in him, as he felt like he could just throw off whatever it was that was keeping him down and keeping him quiet. He knew that here he could be himself and be comfortable, and he could laugh, and he could interact, and he could serve, and all of these things were something he was capable of.
I'm thankful that we actually have a house, and I'm thankful that we have somewhere to live. Even though it's not our dream house at all, it's only apart, but it's better than what people in Haiti have, and that is also one thing that I took from that trip, is that I am literally like a queen living in America, comparing to the Haitians, but they are like, they present themselves and live a personalized life royalty. Even though they have nothing, they are literally living with, I feel like they are more happy than I ever would be with all the stuff that I have. But that's going off on a whole other thing. But anyways, I wanted to say, my main point in Haiti when I gave my speech was to have hope. And translating that into the Haitian Creole, their language is je ne sais. And I feel like that just really touched me, because when I gave the Haitians something that was really important to me, having hope, it was like I connected with them, and I realized that they are just like me, and they are just like you, and they may have different skin color, and they may have totally, completely different lives, but they are just like us. And they need to have hope just as much as we need to have hope.
Oh yeah, stop it before we watch that.
There we go.
Thanks.
There. Okay.
So Haiti was very life-changing to everybody who went.
Sorry.
We'll wait, Brenda, we'll wait.
I closed the tab. It should be. Sorry.
So everybody was changed. Everybody who went to the trip, I know, was affected in one way or another. We all walked away with fuller hearts and so much gratitude to what we have in this country that we have. And, there was pictures there of the house that we built you know, that house that we built there will probably be there for generations. You know, it's a generational thing that we're able to affect there, but it also affected generations within our community. You know, we, with the kids, we saw their self-worth skyrocket. We saw the confidence come from them that we hadn't seen before, like what Brenda was talking about with one of the young men in our group. We saw that with many kids. One of the other boys that went, he wasn't planning on going, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Did you pray about it? And he's like, well, no. I'm like, okay, well, just checking with God and make sure you're doing what's right. And he's like, all right. So he went and he came back the next week, and I'm like, so what'd you decide? And he has this scowl on his face, and he's like, God wants me to go to Haiti. I'm like, all right, well, then let's figure out a plan. And not only did God want him to go to Haiti, but he had already come up with a fabulous fundraiser, and he had his money earned probably within the first 2 months. And he was set to go. And then he went above and beyond, and he said, I want to help with this house that we're going to build. And so he became an apprentice to a carpenter. And so now he has this life skill that he sees himself doing for a long time, being carpentry, but now he wants to do that in Haiti as well. He plans on coming again and building more. He loves the skills that he's learned, and it just was really life-changing to him. The scholars there, a lot of them found chunks of their mission. We at the end of our Quest class, we had a dinner for them and their parents where they came. All the kids were able to present, and they either talked about their Haiti experience or about Quest. And for those who talked about Haiti, every single one of them talked about how they plan on incorporating service in their life more. They talked about how they want to serve more here. They talked about how the trip to San Diego is what they want to do with their life. They talked about how the ballerina who wanted to be a ballerina teacher, now she wants to go and do service in third world countries and live with them. And it was incredibly inspirational to see these changes. You know, these kids that went through this experience, they have this bond now that whenever we see them together, there's just a certain friendship that they have that they didn't have before. They've all walked away with incredible gratitude for what they have. The love for their family has increased so much, especially their love for their dads, since that's one thing that the Haitians really don't experience very often is fatherly love. So don't let the walls stop you. Don't let that, oh my gosh, it's a third world country. Don't let that stop you from doing these super awesome, amazing experiences, especially, you know, with your families, but also with your community, with your Commonwealth kids. You know, it doesn't have to be Haiti that you do with them, but there's lots of awesome experiences that you can have with them. But obviously I'm partial to Haiti. You know, it takes planning. It took us a solid 6 months of planning and preparing the kids, preparing their parents, and preparing them financially, because it's a good chunk of money that they came up to. So April goes down to Haiti quite often. She probably goes 5 times a year. And she has another trip coming up next month. It's her 9th trip there. And she is to the point where she can fill up a group really fast. Like within 2 days, her groups are full. She doesn't work with the government there. She doesn't work with any large, like Red Cross. She doesn't work with any of those because that is red tape for her, and she likes to avoid the red tape. She likes to just go down and serve. She likes to go down, like we did with the house. We were just going to build walls on it, but after we assessed it, we're like, you know what? The walls aren't very sturdy, so let's tear them all out and let's build it from fresh. And so since we didn't have any red tape that we had to deal with, we didn't have people we had to get permission from, we just did it. We just went and we tore out the house and built another one. We knew we had the funds for it, and so we just did it. And that's why I think April is really effective in the service that she does there, is she doesn't wait for the okay from a church or whatever. She just goes and serves. She has contacts down there that she's become very close friends with that help her find projects, that help her evaluate families to find out if they are sincere in their help or if they are moochers, because there's a lot of moochers in Haiti. Sadly, that's part of their culture too. When you become in survival mode for as long as they have been, they do whatever they can to help their families. So when we pass out sandwiches at a park gathering, the moms will be stuffing them under their skirt and hiding them in their shirts so that they can get another one, because they know that each sandwich that they get will feed their family for a day. And so it's just kind of a different culture. And April has these great contacts down there. She has Emmanuel, she has Michelle, and Robinson, that they all help her screen the families and help work with them. Kind of how April's format works is when a family is presented, she works with 30 families currently. When a family is presented, she will, she does a lot of empowerment classes, a lot of you can do it kind of things. And the first service that the group will do for them is she helps them build a garden. And so she helps them with a garden box. She gets some seeds. She teaches them how to take care of it. And so they garden. And then if they garden really well for so long, then she'll help them again. And this time it usually comes in the form of chickens or goats or something else that can help them be self-reliant. And if that goes really well, then she'll do another service with them. And that's what we did this last time for the family, was we helped them with their house. And so kind of doing it this way, it helps screen out those who are just there for the freebies, the bags of rice that she brings around or the buckets of water that we're able to distribute. And she finds those who are really trying to make themselves better. And she really is able to affect those that are open to making big changes in their lives, because she doesn't want to become a welfare for these families. That's not her purpose. Her purpose is to help them be able to take care of themselves and to help their families stay together, because she knows, like, a lot of times she'll help business or help families get a business started so that they can pay for their own needs. So she doesn't just bring them food and then they're on their own. She'll bring them food for 6 months, and during that time she'll help them get their business going or help them get their garden going so that they can be prepared to take care of themselves. So that's kind of what April does. To get it all done, to get your kids, to get your community inspired, it takes a lot of planning and it takes a lot of vision casting. We talked probably every couple of weeks about Haiti, I would tell stories from my trips, and it would just keep them excited, keep the energy up to it. And then April has graciously said that I can plan 2 trips, with the purpose of the first trip in November. My purpose for that one is for homeschool families to be able to go. And then the trip next May will be for the purpose of Quest Kids and their mentors to go. The cost of these trips, the trip is $1,100 per person. That covers all of your expenses in Haiti. It covers all your transportation, your hotel, your meals, everything while you're in Haiti. It does not include your flight, and it doesn't include the service project that we do. And so depending on what the group decides to do for their service project, we wanted to do the house, and so we had to raise the money for that. The house project is $1,300. So between all of us, we did fundraisers and a GoFundMe to raise that money. So it's totally doable. If you break it down to 6 months with fundraisers, it's not, I mean, it's a challenge because, you know, it's a constant thing you have to work on. But if you do monthly fundraisers, then it's totally doable. You can absolutely get there. There's no doubt in my mind that anybody who has that pull, that call, that you can get there. I have no doubt at all. So those are my notes from today, Brenda. Did I miss anything that you wanted to talk about?
I'm going to share a little bit more about some of the things that you did with the kids, like getting them ready.
Okay.
we had April, she's in close proximity to us, so she would come. She came one time, was right at the beginning of school starting, and she did a meeting with the parents and the kids. They were all invited to come, and that was when we were first introducing it to them. We talked about it a couple times in class a little bit, but this was really, get all the information out. And she's done that remotely with groups before, so she can use Zoom or whatever to do that. And that was great because she was able, her and Bonita and Nettie were all able to answer questions that the parents had, like what Bonita said, because some of them were worried about safety or immunization.
Mosquitoes, that was a big one. They were worried about the mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes was a big one, and I never got a bite the whole time we were there. So I know
because I adequately prepared you for that.
Right? I know. I just had bug spray on me like all the time, so I never got a bite. But then we also had her come a couple of times throughout the year, or maybe it was just twice, to the class.
Yeah, she came each semester. She came.
That's right. So like she took up like the first 10 minutes. Like we made it sure it was super short because class takes a lot of time, and we didn't have a lot of extra time. But we gave her 10 minutes. She showed some stuff. We showed like some videos that she had on her Facebook page and stuff like that to the kids in between that as well, to keep them excited about what was happening. And we would mention it usually in our announcement time at the beginning of class. So we kept the energy level high, and we encouraged the kids constantly. So they were in charge of their own funds as far as the flight and the $1,600, I guess, that they basically had to come up with for the flight and for the fees for actually being in Haiti. But we were encouraging them constantly. So I just had to take on this mentality that Bonita had and go, hey, if you want to come, there's a way to make it happen. And so raise your hand if you want to come. That was not if you think you have the money to come or anything like that. Just raise your hand if you want to come. And through that process, some of the kids had some different priorities. And that was fine too. So we didn't bring the whole class, obviously, but a lot of them wanted to come, but were afraid of the money issue. And Bonita was like, nope, here's what you can do, And so like Hunter's project was he came up with that on his own, but it was very unique to him. So he cut wood. They went and got wood for free, right, Bonita?
They went and gathered wood up the forest.
Okay. They had a permit.
Distributed it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they had like a permit or permission or whatever, and they were able to get a certain amount of wood for free. And then he, came home and hacked it all to pieces, and then they sold it. And so that was how he earned his money.
And it all sold in like 6 days.
Yeah,
it was
super fast. What are some of the other projects some of the other kids did? Oh, Stephanie. Okay, so Stephanie and her dad, this was the first idea that they had, and I don't know if it happened or not, but she was also babysitting. She had like a permanent babysitting job that was bringing in some money for her. But then her and her dad actually bought a car together that didn't work and fixed it up to sell it. And that was a part of her money as well. So that was really cool. So all these ideas, like everybody did something different. What were some of the other ideas, Bonita, that you gave some of the kids?
Oh, what I like to do with fundraisers is I like to tell people to tap into what they love to do. Mm-hmm. For example, Josh, who didn't come on our trip, but he did the fundraising thing because our key class went to DC, and he did money for that. And so Josh loves to play the ukulele. He just loves to play it, and he plays for our morning devotional, and we all sing along. But so with Josh, I don't know if he ended up doing it, but I told him to do a ukulele boot camp. I told them to make up certificates at Christmas time, sell them for $50, and then have it be a day where, they bring their ukuleles to wherever he's going to have it, and he teaches them how to play the ukulele, and they play songs, and they have like a little concert at the end kind of a thing. So there's that kind of a thing. You just kind of take what you love to do and figure out a way to sell it. Like I did gingerbread houses at Christmas time. I sold, I think, 20 gingerbread house kits and was able to pay for my airplane ticket that way. So you just take what you love and you figure out a way to market it.
She's amazing at that, by the way. It's just amazing. So that was really amazing. So we did this with the kids, like always asking them, where are you at? How are you doing? We had some deadlines, so they had to come up with the money in 3 different pieces. I think we had January, February, March or something like that were the deadlines.
Yeah, something like that.
And we maybe could have even had them kind of buy in a little bit earlier, just to make sure that we had a commitment from them, you know, maybe by November or something like that, $200.
Yeah, the commitments are a lot earlier this time because April needs to know her groups are full. Okay. And so if we can get them full quickly, then she'll fill them up.
Yeah.
And it's always much better to go with a group that's all your like-minded people.
Yeah, which was great. Yeah, she's already asking us about November. How many people are going for November? I'm like, I haven't even had this meeting with my family yet. But we're going in November. So, and all my kids are, they just don't know it yet. So we had that process going on. And then at the same time, the kids were also soliciting donations at their churches and in their neighborhoods. So we were collecting, we gave them a list, and
like toothbrushes and toothpaste and soap. It's the things that we take, because when we go, you'll purchase 2 large suitcases to go with you, but all of that needs to be filled with donations for the families there. So everything that you need for the week has to be condensed into your backpack. And that in itself was a real learning experience for our kids, because they were like, there's no way, I can't fit my blow dryer in there. I need my curling iron. I'm like, oh, honey, there's not enough power to run a blow dryer. Sorry.
It was awesome. So that picture that you saw in the video of the bags all lined up, every one of those duffel bags was full of donations. So we had like 26 duffel bags full of donations, and then we had our backpacks. And it was a difficult thing. You saw us in my driveway, the picture in the driveway, that was us trying to sort all of that stuff so that we could evenly distribute the weight in the suitcases. So we had a suitcase weigher. I don't know, it was a big, huge platform thing that weighed all the suitcases, and they were all at like 39.3 or 39.8 pounds or something. It was like just under 40.
We pushed it to 40.5.
Oh, that's right, 40.5. It was like, they're not 41 yet, but it was like to the exact. They were all like that. They had peanut butter and jelly and all kinds of stuff in there. No glass, only plastic, but and oatmeal and all kinds of things. So they were doing that along the way, as well as doing the GoFundMe and stuff. And we did have a parent who took over the GoFundMe stuff. It would have been better if she would have done it earlier, like if we would have asked her earlier. So we learned some things that Bonita can pass on to anybody who's wanting to do this. I'm really grateful for her experience, because even the fact that she had gone in November and we were going in April was a really big deal to have her be able to answer questions. But so that parent basically went and solicited from businesses and got donations from businesses, and she finished up our GoFundMe needs. So that was fabulous too. It all just worked. Like once we committed to doing it, we found a way to make it happen. And I think that's really the point of what we're sharing with you today, is that don't think it's too big. Don't think it's not within your reach, because it is. Whatever it is you want to do. You want to take your Key kids to Washington, D.C. You want to take your Quest kids to Haiti. You want to, whatever it is, you can do it. You can. So Janelyn has her hand raised. So Janelyn, is that accident or is that on purpose? Because I wasn't paying attention till just now. Sorry. There you are.
Oh, you unmuted me.
I unmuted you, but I didn't lower your hand. Hey!
It was on purpose. I had a question about the trip in November that you're taking homeschool families. I'm just wondering what the age requirements are. Like, what's too young?
The youngest that April has had go on her trip is 8 years old. The youngest that she'll take unsupervised, because she will have kids go down, is 14, 15 if they're mature. She likes them to be older. If a parent goes with them, they can be any age, because their parent will be in charge of them. But if she's in charge of them, they've got to be a mature teenager.
Any age.
And that's why. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Just no lower than 8 though. Like with the parent, we don't want the little.
Okay, that's what. Well, that works for my family, but I was just curious. What age? That age is 8 is actually pretty young. I'm kind of surprised. So that's nice.
It's really young, but it still affects them. When my first trip we went, there was a girl that was 10 and a boy that was 12 that went, and they were pretty young, and they had saucer eyes the whole time. You know, people walk down the street with just a loincloth on, and there's a lot of conversations that happen with that. And so I wouldn't want to take my kids that young, but some families, it works for them. I like my younger kids, they want to go. I'm like, maybe when you're 13 or 14, you know, let's keep you innocent a little bit longer.
Yeah,
because there's
Bonita, I only saw that one time while we were there together, where there was a woman who was walking down the street with.
Right, that's because we didn't go to Baison Bleu, because the road to Baison Bleu was washed out, and that's where the mountain people live that don't have access to anything. And that's where a lot of it was at on our previous trip, was on the trip to Baison Bleu.
Okay.
So is there room in the November trip? Is part of this whole thing like
come with us? Come with us.
I think this would be awesome for my family. I think we'd really like it, but I'm at the point where I want more details.
Yeah. And we're going to have another call actually for anybody who wants more details, who wants to go in November. So yes, I mean, we are opening it up, like, so Bonita and Bonita's family and my family and some of the other kids that came with us before, they all want to go back. And so we are kind of monopolizing this trip of November, but we're inviting you to come with us, especially if it's something like, hey, I want to go do this with my family and see if I want to do it with my school or with, you know, the group later. So this is kind of a dip your feet in the waters as a school leader to see if it's something that you're interested in. So there's multiple reasons for doing this today. And one of it is to say, hey, we'd love to have you come with us in November. The other reason is, and of course there's a limit though, so we do only have so many spaces, but the other is to share with you that anything is possible, really. So those two reasons.
So right now with Brenda's family, mine coming, I think that leaves 14 spots available that we're inviting Brenda's schools to first before I open it up to other homeschooling communities that I know. So yeah, that's where that is.
Yeah, so we're going to share this with, when Bonita and I were talking about it, we were talking about how awesome it would be if other Commonwealths could do the same thing that we had done. And so we decided that we would go ahead and share our experience, but I was like, how about if we share it with my licensed groups first? And then, so do we have a schedule already? I think we kind of scheduled.
For our next call?
Yeah, well, we had 2 calls that I think we might have scheduled. One was to do more detailed information for anybody who's on here right now or who's listening to this recording. And then
on my notes, it says the 20th of June is the next time that we're meeting.
Okay. And then the other meeting was going to be to share the opportunity with other groups outside of the licensed schools and let them know as well that it's available. But we wanted to share it with you guys first. So
it's incredibly powerful to go with people who have the same goals with their family, because you seek out different opportunities as a homeschool family versus, you know, the kids that come from college. With April, we have different goals, we have different things that we're looking for, and so it's really, really powerful to have everybody be on the same page. You know, it's people are less complaining because we're doing what we want instead of, I don't want to do this, I want to hang by the pool. Well, let's go we take more opportunity with the service. It's just really powerful to have people there who want the same thing out of it, who are doing this experience so that their kids can grow up to be a certain kind of character. It's just very powerful.
Are you guys opening up the May trip for Quest students to other Quest groups?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and so you don't have to come on the November one in order to go in May. It's an idea, you know, if you wanted to do it kind of the way we did, where Bonita went first and was able to, you know, reassure all the parents and stuff of what the experience was like. but it's not necessary.
Can you talk a little bit about how you incorporated this trip into the Quest class, like the curriculum itself?
Mostly what we did was we just, like I kind of mentioned before, was I told Bonita, I said, look, I've taught this class several times before, and the service portion of it always kind of gets left by the wayside. We're so busy doing so many other things that, and the service is really what changes the kids. I mean, not really, because the studying and the reading, like they're experiencing, these great statesmen as well, and that's really, really important as well. But we both just really want to put it all into action. And so we talked about it. I feel like it became a part of our conversation when we talked about some of these statesmen, and we refer to Haiti and the experiences there. So we didn't really go into it. Like I would have loved, it would have been so cool if we actually found a Haitian statesman, that had a biography that we could then replace.
There's not one.
Wouldn't that be awesome, Bonita? That'd be so cool.
I have looked, and all that kind of stuff is destroyed at the next Civil War. And so there's nothing.
So, it would have been awesome, but Bonita did all her homework. And
some of the other things we did, when we take the Quest kids, we will create an experience for them there. Like we had them all give a presentation in Haiti, and an oral presentation about inspiring the Haitians to overcome their hard times. And that was really kind of fun because the kids got to work with an interpreter. They had to really focus on their audience. And so that was really fun for them to do. And then we also had them involved with planning the service projects and gathering supplies for the service projects. And one thing that we've noticed that the kids put these, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Gandhi, all on these great big pedestals that, I'll never be like Gandhi, but I can learn from him, kind of an attitude. And I really wanted them to realize that, not all the great statesmen in the world have a biography written about them. They're out there. You have to go and find them. You have to go and be that. It's not about the people in the books. It's about yourself. And that was really a great conversation to have with them because, it's great to study Gandhi, but now you need to go do what he said. Go be that change in the world. And this is your opportunity. And it probably won't be in a book. And that's okay.
Right. And what we did too, so, Bonita touched on it, but I'm just going to clarify a little bit, that those speeches that they gave to the Haitians, they were basically their last speech that they gave in class, not including, they give a speech, an oral presentation of their big research project, so not counting that, but it was their Inspire Greatness in Others and Themselves. And we basically said, hey, those of you who are going to Haiti, use the Haitians as your audience when you present this. And so they prepared it and presented it in class as if it was going to be for the Haitians. And then when we got there, they cut it down because we only gave them 5 minutes, because then when it's interpreted, it's 10, So, and they re-delivered it there. So they'd already practiced it. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous that I was concerned that they wouldn't be able to mentally translate their speeches into the language for the Haitians. I was worried that we're so spoiled, and I just didn't want it to come out that way. And I'll tell you what, Stephanie, that little blonde girl, she just touched their hearts. Her whole speech, afterwards they were coming up and asking us as mentors, who was she? And they asked a question actually after the whole meeting was over. One of them asked, so how does she get so comfortable and so good at speaking like that? So it was really inspiring. And speaking, by the way, was not her strong point. She was not a strong speaker during class, and especially at the beginning. She was a great writer, but a really weak speaker. And so it was inspiring to them. We just said, hey, we've been spending all year, and they spend a lot of their time speaking in public and stuff like that, getting them ready for that. So it was inspiring to everyone. It was an amazing experience. Okay, we're going to have to close here. pretty quick, but we want to invite you guys to anybody who's really interested in finding out more. We want to have a June session. It'll be just like this, except for it'll really just almost completely be questions and answers. So we will, thinking about how the best way to do that would be, I will put something, oh, but then you have to share it with your leadership team. Okay, I'll put a survey on the Facebook page or in an email, and you can send that out to your.
I mean, I don't fit in here. Just straight like.
Sorry, who's speaking? I missed something, but Sierra's got her hand raised. So Sierra, go ahead.
I was just wondering if you could talk about the beach simulation real quick.
Oh, okay.
But before you that too, we have Lemmy training up here in the Northwest, June 20th. Oh no, June 22nd. We're good. We're good. Never mind. There's a lot of people in here that will be there.
Okay. Okay, so it'll be a couple of days before. So we're okay?
We'll be
okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so so just know that I'm going to send you something that you'll need to send to your leadership team that will be just a quick survey. So you can put your name and email address in that, and then that will be who gets the invitations to the June 20th meeting. Not that it's closed or anything, just it will help me get the information out. That's all. Get the link and stuff like that. So, okay, and we don't have a time frame for it yet. So, okay.
Feel free to include that video with whatever you need. You know, pass that in your community, and I'm sure it'll look better if you watch it live from YouTube than on a Zoom conference.
And through this. In fact, Bonita, can you text that into the chat, the link for it, and everybody can.
You know how I would do that. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, you're on your iPad. That's right. Okay. Let me just do this really quick because I actually have to walk. Wait a minute. But let me go over that beach simulation really quick. So it was super, super simple, but it was kind of fun. And, you know, we had to go to San Diego for it. So that was awesome. So while we were on the beach, the kids, I pulled them all out of the water for a minute. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And I put everybody, sorry, I hear Q.
Come here, Katie.
Not that one. This one.
Go ahead and mute yourself. Everybody who's not muted. So we had them link arms like elbows, right, in a big line at the beginning of the beach, and we just had them walk out into the waves and see how far they could get before they broke the links. So they went out the first time, and it was interesting, and it was fun, and they were laughing, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And we kind of, as mentors, we sat on the beach and watched and tried to determine like how far they went. And then they went out again a second time the same way, but this time they had some experience, and so they were able to plan it out better. So they put the tallest people on the ends. Jessica, our ballerina, she was on one end, and I can't remember who was on the other end. Davis probably. And then they walked out that way, and they were able to get further. And then we gave them a handicap, and I don't remember what the handicap was. So they had to close their eyes. And they got pretty far once or twice, and I was like, okay, should we go get them? But it ended up being great, and the debrief in the car was really fun afterwards. And I was driving, so I didn't get to hear very much of it. Bonita was able to lead that debrief much better. But oh my gosh, always debrief everything you do. Do not forget, when you are teaching a class, quest, key, whatever it is, every time you do something, it's worth nothing if you don't debrief it. So that was it. Okay, so you're invited, like I said, to June 20th. We're going to go ahead and sign off here right now. You can go ahead and send me any questions too that you want answered on June 20th, or if you can't wait, I'll forward them on to Bonita, and we would just love to have anybody join us in November that wants to. It would be fantastic. So, okay. Oh, Sierra, one more question.
All right, just one more question about the simulation.
Okay.
I literally live by the beach, so we can do this.
Yes, you can.
I was just thinking, so what were you hoping, what was the purpose of the simulation? What was your goal for the simulation?
There was a couple of different goals. One was we wanted to see them work as a team.
Okay.
And another one was the experience was important. And also in the debrief, one of the things that came out in the debrief was when different people like had different things going on, because I think somebody like scraped their leg or something like that, you know, in the first one or something. And so there was some stuff going on second and third, and how as a team they overcame that and what they did to resolve it. So we were
like they used their roles, like they used their talents that they had, like so-and-so was a good swimmer, so they put him in a good place, and so-and-so was tall, so let's put her there, you know, that whole using everybody's role, using your gifts to make your team better.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just
nope, that was awesome.
Piqued my imagination and asked about it.
You need the rest of it, the rest of the story.
I do.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, you guys are great, and thank you. Thanks for joining Bonita and I. And I'm sorry that I'm such a ball baby. I'm not usually like that, am I? But oh, I'm just telling you, it was just an amazing experience that will never leave me, and so it's kind of tender. Okay, take care, and I will see you all later.
Thank you, Brenda.